I'm Juan Carlos Santana, the director of the Institute of Human Performance in Boca Raton, Florida. It is my pleasure to bring you the essence of bodyweight training, the forgotten workout. This 2-volume series illustrates the power and diversity of bodyweight training. Since it would be impossible to provide a complete list of exercises, we included the most popular and effective exercises we use at the Institute of Human Performance. We promise you this video will take your training to the next level. You're in for a real treat. Most of the exercises in this video series were introduced to me back in the 70s by my European and Asian coaches of the martial arts. Now, it's our athletes that inspire us. Many of our athletes train out of our beautiful facility. But many train in more modest environments, such as parking lots, fields, wrestling rooms, courts, dojos, and tracks all over Florida. Helping us with the demonstrations in this video are some of the athletes from the Spanish River High wrestling team and the Boca Raton High baseball team. When the filming of this video took place, their teams were getting ready for the season. This was a perfect opportunity for you to see the real people that do these real exercises. This video series will be helpful to the coach that needs to get his or her team in top competition shape, but is limited in space, time, or equipment. The video will also provide training ideas for personal trainers needing a few tricks up their sleeves to keep their clients motivated and challenged. The actual inspiration for this video started 3 years ago when I met the wrestling coaches of Spanish River High School. New ideas did not intimidate these very dedicated coaches. They welcomed me and my training approach with open arms. This is what they had and what they needed. A room and a mat that's about 800 square feet, 35 hard-working athletes that needed to get in shape quick, 40 minutes to do the job before practice, 3 to 5 days a week, and 5 weeks to their first match. Basically, they had no equipment, no room, and little time. So I said, no problem. From there, the rest is history. It is this history that we want to share with you in hopes that you too will take this methodology and apply it with success and enthusiasm. Since we realize that not everyone trains athletes, we have compiled a wide spectrum of exercises covering a wide range of applications. The progressions we will provide you will allow you to apply this method of training to just about anyone, from the beginner to the very advanced. In this volume, we will cover lower body and total body progressions, along with some core, balance, neck, and gripping exercises. The diverse selection of exercises in this video can serve as a menu list. Using this list, you can then integrate these exercises into your own workouts based on equipment availability, activity demands, and training level of your clients or athletes. Remember that this video is by no means a complete list of exercises. There are endless variations you can come up with. We encourage you to create your own progressions and then share them with us and inspire our fellow coaches and trainers. Our position on training has always been one of integration. Use the best of the best and don't limit yourself to one training approach. Therefore, our intention with this video is to add some training ideas that will enhance your current performance enhancement program. We promise you will entertain and inspire those around you as well as get really strong. Now let's talk shop. When training with body weight, certain things should be kept in mind. First, it is extremely important to follow proper progression. Some of the advanced exercises look pretty cool and fun to perform. Don't try them unless you have plenty of exercise experience and strength. This is particularly true of neck and some of the heavy lifting exercises. One of the main safety issues is the flooring or training surface you choose to work on. Many of the lower body and total body progressions can be done on hard surfaces such as concrete or wood. However, exercises such as neck and partner carry exercises should be done on softer surfaces like rubber mats or grass. Appropriate training attire is also a must. A sweaty body can present a serious problem during partner exercises. One slip can result in serious injury. I always adjust the exercise to the training environment. For example, when I work on concrete or wood, I limit the height of the lift and concentrate more on individual exercises and metabolic conditioning. When working on mats or soft grass, I can afford to get a little bit more aggressive. The maturity and experience level of the trainees also plays an important role in exercise selection. Always put safety first and side with a conservative approach. Although our training is well known for its intense nature, we don't believe in the no pain, no gain axiom. When you push the limits of your body, there will be pain. You can't avoid it at high levels. However, we try to differentiate between muscle aches and joint pain. We may choose to work through some muscle aches that are DOMS related, but I certainly pay close attention to joint pain and discourage working through this type of symptom. To ensure safety, we also work closely with our healthcare professionals, such as athletic trainers and physical therapists. Now, beyond safety and onto progression tweaks. Bodyweight exercises usually favor lighter individuals. Do not expect heavier individuals to perform many of these exercises as easy as their lighter counterparts. Gender also affects exercise selection. In general, females are not as strong in the upper body as males. Therefore, be patient with your female trainees. All hardworking individuals can achieve excellent strength levels. We will demonstrate the exercises in this video with people of all ages, genders, and sizes, just so you can see that age, size, and gender do not have to play a huge factor in exercise proficiency. Strength and skill are acquired through hard work and can be attained by anyone willing to put in the time. There are 4 main tweaks we use to make exercises harder or easier. We can add speed to increase intensity. The additional momentum generated by speed adds to the load of any exercise. A great example of this is a squat jump. We also manipulate the lever arm of the exercise. Longer lever arms provide greater loads. For example, a crunch on the ground is easier than a partner crunch when the lever arm is lengthened. Reducing the base of support of any exercise can also serve as a tweak to increase its intensity. Examples of this can be found in one-leg squats versus two-leg squats. Finally, we can add movement to any position to challenge stability demands. Adding a reach to a single leg balance or adding a reactive component to the partner push-up are great examples of how movement can be used as a progression tweak. There are also minor progression tweaks that can help you create progressive overload. These include performing isometrics before movement, as in farmer walk isometrics before body curls. We also perform partial range of motion exercises before complete ranges of motions are attempted. A great example of this can be seen in this partner deadlift. We attempt the second pull before the first pull. After these 2 progressions are perfected, the complete pull can be attempted. Finally, body positions can be changed to take weight off areas that are weak and need a little time to develop appropriate stabilization strength. This approach to proper progression is illustrated with these partner crunches. If the bottom person does not have appropriate core strength to hold the partner in this position, then the position can be changed so the shoulder and upper body take more of the load. Learning body adjustments takes a little time to learn. There are no shortcuts to experience. Be patient and experiment. Use the tweaks to work smart and pain-free. We love to train hard, but demand that our athletes and clients train smart. Now let's get busy. Different activities require various energy systems for successful performance. In sports, a lineman in football or a tennis player will not likely run too many 1-minute sequences. However, a basketball player and wrestler will obviously experience play sequences of this duration. To avoid turning this into a sport-specific conditioning video, we will feature the runs we perform to increase lactate tolerance. If we had to choose one method of conditioning, we feel this is the one that makes cowards of us all during the last stretch. We make no secret about the fact that this is gut-wrenching, boring work. Our purpose for these runs is to get in killer shape, not to develop movement skills or entertain our athletes and clients. You can use anything from running up a bridge to a hill right on your own street. Sometimes hard training can be found right in front of your own house. The 300-yard shuttle is made up of 12 25-yard shuttle runs. We ask that the lines be touched with alternating hands to make sure that we are changing direction on both sides of the body. 12 consecutive lengths are completed with a target time of 60 to 70 seconds, depending on the athlete, recovery, and number of repeats. The 400-meter run is simple, one lap around a regulation track. 400-meter repeats are absolutely brutal and are a staple in our wrestlers' preseason training. We look for times of about 1 minute to 1 minute 30. This also depends on the person, recovery, and number of repeats. Basketball line drills give us another great way to train for lactate tolerance. Again, we ask that the lines be touched with alternating hands, so we change directions on both sides of the body. The run is baseline to near free throw line, back to the baseline. Run to half court, then back to the baseline. Next, run to the far free throw line, then back to the baseline. Finally, run to the opposite baseline and back to the starting baseline, all in about 25 to 40 seconds depending on the athlete and conditioning level. Conditioning for the most part is hard work. We try to make it interesting for our athletes and clients. Just to get away from the grinding routine, we occasionally will use various pieces of equipment when time and budget allow. The equipment does not have to be very expensive. Just use whatever resources you have available. Metabolic strength protocols are a great way to condition athletes without running them. This approach is very useful with large people that may develop shin splints if an aggressive running program is attempted. Metabolic strength protocols also help develop strength and power endurance. Two of our favorites metabolic circuits are the leg crank and the squat, thrust, and jump circuits. The leg crank circuits can be done in various ways. You can use different leg positions to help you add specificity to your training. Our leg crank circuits can take anywhere between 1 minute and 1 minute and 40 seconds, depending on the reps and exercise selected. Here's one of the many versions you can use. Start with 24 lunges. You can use the upright posture or the reaching version. Then follow it with 24 squats. Try the traditional stance or the staggered stance. Follow that up with 24 box or split jumps. If you have a step, use it. If not, split jumps make a great substitution. The circuit finally finishes with 12 jump squats. Here again, you can use parallel stances or staggered stances. We have had several individuals finish 6 continuous sets of these types of protocols in anywhere between 6 minutes and 8.5 minutes. Various set protocols and positions can be utilized to make it as specific to your application as possible. Just have some fun and experiment. The squat, thrust, and jump is the most advanced progression along this category of exercise. The squat, thrust, and jump circuit consists of 20 squat jumps. Try to get down to parallel on these and go for maximum height. Follow this with 20 squat thrusts. Here, we look for full extension and a tight core. Push-ups can be added for additional work. We end the circuit with 10 squat thrusts and jump. This is the killer, and it takes everything you have just to get some air. We perform this protocol once each of the exercises is mastered separately. This is a real killer set, taking about 1 minute and 15 seconds to complete. Putting several sets back to back can prepare athletes to handle just about anything. This video has been partitioned into best fit sections. This means some of the exercises in one section can easily fit into another. For example, some of our total body strength exercises are also pulling exercises, and some of our lower body exercises can easily be considered total body work. So don't get all caught up into what body part you're working, rather than just look at the movement, have fun, and execute it properly. This section on total body strength has some of the exercises we use to increase total work capacity. We often do these exercises right after our conditioning session to really tax our work capacity. For the most part, these exercises are easy to perform, they just take a lot out of you. Repeated singles or consecutive reps can be performed. Make no mistake about it, this is serious strength training. We often have the strongest individuals in our facility try these types of exercises, and they tell us they find them extremely challenging. The shake-off requires great strength from both individuals performing it. The bottom person must have strong arms and core to support the top partner. The top person must use a very strong isometric hold with the upper and lower body just to stay on. The core of the top partner must also be kept in a constant crunch position to keep the knees up and holding on. This exercise is a great starter to partner training. To tweak this move up a notch, the bottom person can stand up and perform the shake-off movement from a standing position. The partner stand-up is a total body exercise that is simple in scope. Just stand with a partner on your back. The exercise is started with the bottom individual in a 6-point stance. A simple stand-up is then performed while the top individual hangs on for dear life with double underhooks and a leg squeeze. Strong, lighter people can get away without using the hands for the stand-up. Heavier people will usually go to a 4-point stance, then stand up. You can see how the shake-off gets you ready for this exercise. Total body strength is needed in many of the heavy sports, such as football, wrestling, and rugby. The double leg pickup begins to strengthen the second or finishing pull. This is a total body exercise needing a solid core and strong hips. As strength increases, the partner being picked up can pick up his or her feet, allowing lower squatting positions. Both staggered and parallel stances can be used depending on your goal. The fireman's carry starts to load the body in the frontal and transverse planes. Notice the multiplanar pattern of movement provided by this exercise. As with all other lifts, performing them to both sides helps develop excellent total body strength. This lift sets up the squatting and carrying versions of this exercise, which will follow. The fireman's carry walk is an easy exercise to do, but takes enormous energy. Because of this, we like to perform this exercise while tired after sprints or metabolic circuits. Suplex arching is fairly easy to perform and develops the second or high pull. They develop very strong backs and a great grip. At first, the individual being picked up can assist the movement by planting their feet between reps. In the more advanced version, the individual being picked up can lift the feet and not provide any assistance at the bottom position. This deadlift starts to work the low position or the first pull. The whole idea is to lift the individual to a standing position. This exercise requires strong hips and significant isometric strength in the upper body. While we allow the bottom man to assist the top partner with his feet and hands at the initial stages of training, the support is reduced as the strength of the top partner increases. These deadlifts provide asymmetrical loading and different low loading positions. Being a more advanced lift, the bottom partner holds a more erect posture using a gable lock and a figure 4 on the legs. This is an excellent strength exercise for the big people. Now you're ready for the big one, the complete deadlift to suplex lift. This lift involves the first pull to clear the bottom athlete to the waist. Then, an explosive suplex arc lift is performed. This lift is the top gun and should be reserved for your strongest athletes. These inverted lifts set us up for the fun exercise that follows. The inverted suplex really accentuates the second pull and targets the back and hips. At the beginning of the progression, the bottom person can assist the top person by pushing up with the legs. As strength increases, the top individual's legs do not touch the ground during the entire exercise. The alternating inverted suplex to a double leg pickup looks like something right out of a circus. However, it does not feel like it. It is fun, but very hard to do. Once both athletes get the feel for it, it does become much smoother. Start with singles and make sure that a solid grip is always maintained. Then progress to consecutive reps. Total body power can be developed using many different exercises. We find ourselves using the mountain climbers and squat thrust progressions with great regularity and success. We also incorporate some Olympic lifting methodology. Here's how we do it. Mountain climbers start providing us with the basis for explosive work in the prone position. It really starts to target the hip flexors, abdominals, and upper body pushing musculature. Squat thrusts combine level changes with explosive work. This movement looks like a wrestling sprawl. Notice the core never touches the ground. The squat thrust and jump is the most advanced progression along this category of exercise. It's not a very hard exercise to perform, but it's very energy intensive, making it an excellent conditioning tool. The total body explosive push-up is a monster power exercise, especially for the upper body and core. The standard progression is performed in place. As the upper body and legs push off the ground, the hips are explosively lifted, creating upward momentum. Try to get lots of air. Body cleans resemble the partner curl-up, but with an explosive emphasis. This version allows for a lower loading position. The entire body is used in this exercise. Notice the partner being carried is brought down to the knees of the individual standing. Once loaded, the standing partner explodes upward and tries to bring the carried partner all the way above the head. It is an advanced version of the suplex lift. Developing total body functional strength is easy to do with partner exercises, especially for combative athletes. They are an excellent method of kicking a strength phase into a higher gear. No matter what kind of great shape you think you're in, this approach to training will rock your world. Lower body strength should be concurrently developed with total body strength. Squats are fundamental to any strength program. Obviously, the basic two-leg version should be mastered before going on to more advanced progressions. Single leg squats will challenge most of your people with little chance of injury. They are an excellent choice and we use them extensively. For a greater challenge, try single leg squatting in all three planes of motion. Lunging is one of the most challenging exercises for the lower body. When doing the standard lunge, remember to look for proper ear, shoulder, hip, and trailing knee alignment. Several other versions can be performed to mimic your particular application. For example, these reaching lunges can be made to look like a takedown drill in wrestling, or just reaching for a sock on the floor. Once again, try them in all planes of motion to add variety and specificity to your training. Steps, stairs, or hills can be used to provide incredible leg strength. You can use stepping, walking, running, or jumping to cover the distance. These progressions will provide a huge array of exercises. Remember to think outside the box. We just don't step up, but off and over too. We just don't run uphill, but downhill as well. This partner two-leg pickup is a great way to start the partner squatting progression. In the beginning stages of training, the partner being held can assist by supporting some of their own weight by planting their feet on the ground between reps. In the advanced progression, the top partner goes limp and is carried throughout the entire exercise without providing any assistance. Once significant leg strength is developed, squatting someone of equal weight can be attempted. Most strong athletes can quarter squat body weight. Therefore, this is where this exercise should start. You can then slowly work down to a parallel position. We prefer to use the fireman's carry position for the top man, but a front or over-the-shoulder carry position can also be used. Don't be afraid to mix it up and experiment. Lower body plyos can be very demanding, but effective in providing power to the hips and legs. There are many different types of skips, hops, and jumps, but here are a few of our favorites. Power skipping is a great way to develop lower body power, especially for a single leg. They are our favorite plyometric exercise. They are easy to teach and very effective. The emphasis here is on amplitude. Try to achieve maximum height as well as distance. A wall acceleration run is the next best thing to pushing a sled. This exercise works on acceleration and pushing mechanics. The forward lean should be about 50 degrees and the heels should not touch the ground during the entire drill. One can perform one rep at a time in response to a command, or you can perform several reps to a single command. Concentrate on speed and range of leg movement, keeping the core tight and firm. Box jumps come in many different sizes and flavors. This exercise is great for developing explosive power and vertical jumping ability. Safety is always an issue here, so always err on the conservative side. Squat jumps are easy to learn, but require lots of leg strength. We like to see people perform 20 squats in 20 seconds before they try squat jumps. The key here is to jump as high as possible, then land and immediately sink right into a deep squat position, followed by an immediate jump. Repeated long jumps were covered in the biomotor drills section. We decided to show them again because of their popularity and effectiveness in developing lower body and core power. The emphasis can be on length of jump, or the frequency of the jump. Try both and see the difference in the way the exercise feels. Hurdle or partner jumps are excellent for power development in close quarters. Various jumping directions can be used and multiple configurations can be set up. We love the partner lateral jump. The bottom man can raise or lower the hips in order to set up the appropriate height that will challenge the jumping athlete. Alternating split jumps are performed only after completing the lunge progression and being able to perform 20 lunges in 30 seconds. As with the squat jumps, landing in a deep lunge position is extremely challenging. Coming out of the deep position as fast as possible and plenty of hang time should be the goals of this exercise. After jumps are mastered, hops are next on the list. For maximum results, try hopping on a single leg in all planes of motion. This is a great way to keep your knees healthy and strong. Skaters look like lateral bounds and are very popular with soccer coaches. They are excellent for training lateral stability, balance, and power. Any athlete that cuts or eventually goes to a single leg dominant position will benefit from this exercise. Go for distance and height. Stick the landing and immediately the direction of the jump. Bounding is a very advanced exercise. It is basically an exaggerated run with lots of hang time. Track and field athletes make this exercise look effortless, but most people will have trouble generating enough power off one leg to achieve significant lift. Various arm swings can be used to help with this exercise. Experiment and see how this one works for you. A major factor in speed and agility is mobility and functional flexibility, especially in the hip area. We use these hurdle drills to help us with balance and mobility. These step over and duck under exercises are great for increasing strength and range of motion in the hips. As one performs the step over, the single leg position also provides dynamic balance training. During the duck under, the flexed back position also trains dynamic spinal stabilization. Perform these moves at various speeds, but always with control. Use different patterns, heights, and planes of motion to really challenge your core mobility and balance. Sit-ups have been around since exercise. They are a staple abdominal exercise performed in every gym across the world. Although they are not the most functional abdominal exercise, sit-ups provide good hypertrophy and strength training for the abdominal muscles, and they're easy to do. Although we use all positions, we do prefer a position that will open up the hip flexor and let it get involved with the exercise. Like the sit-ups, scissors and leg lifts have also been around forever. They are an excellent way to focus on lower abdominals and hip flexor range of motion and strength. There are many products that can be used to support the lower back in beginners. The wider range that we can achieve with back support allows the hips to open up without injuring the lower back. As strength and range of motion increase in advanced trainees, the lower back can be suspended in midair. Don't try this. This is just to show you the strength that can be developed. The sit-ups and leg raises give rise to the pike V-ups. They are very popular with gymnasts, divers, and swimmers. They're not easy to do, but they can be learned. This exercise requires good timing and core strength and is appropriate for the middle stages of general conditioning, after the sit-up and leg raises are mastered. There are several progressions to this exercise, and a medicine ball can be thrown into the mix to add intensity and a fun factor. Supermans start general conditioning for the entire back. We like the partner-assisted type that secure the feet. This allows more elevation and range of motion. This exercise starts to set up the stage for the hyperextensions that are coming. The elbow stabilization is excellent for working the stabilizers of the shoulders as well as the core. Look for good body alignment and scapular stability. This exercise can also challenge the transverse plane by rotating to a single elbow. Adding hip elevations while on a single elbow makes this hip lift great for working the entire body in the frontal plane. Various foot positions can be used to add difficulty. We start from a staggered foot position, then advance to feet together, then finally to a single leg. Again, we look for good alignment and scapular stability. Before any reclined pulling can be done correctly, these reclined extensions must be mastered. These extensions teach the body to develop proper core stabilization during the reclined pulls that follow. This extension naturally engages all of the core stabilizers by drawing in the abdominals while increasing hip flexor range of motion. To add difficulty and transverse plane stability, try performing this exercise while supported by a single leg. Although this is an upper body progression, the core demands far outweigh the need for upper body strength. It is imperative that you have mastered all other core strength progressions before you attempt this. If you feel the slightest pressure on the back, stop the exercise. In time, your core will be strong enough to safely support this exercise. For the ultimate in core and back strength, try this body lift. You might remember this move from the Rocky IV movie. Make sure you're grabbing a secure structure. Curl your legs up and balance on your shoulders. Then start to slowly lower your entire body. We like to stay in a slight hyperextended position that is natural and pain-free. Can you say ouch? Okay, you have now reached the end of the road in core strength. The one-arm extended push-up requires the ultimate in core and upper body strength. It just doesn't get any harder than this. Remember, this is an advanced progression and only illustrated here to show you how far the envelope can be pushed. As we have said before, sit-ups are not necessarily functional, but they're fun, especially the partner version. This progression gets your people strong and engages 2 individuals at a time. The bottom person is always working to support this exercise. The placement of the top partner's hips can start off on the shoulder or hip area. This takes the pressure off the back of the bottom person. As you can see, 2 different configurations can be used, and the range of motion can also be manipulated to match your athlete's training level. Just like the crunch, the partner hyper can also be performed in 2 basic ways. The position you choose will depend on the core strength of the bottom individual. If the bottom person feels too much pressure on the back with the leg-to-leg position, change it to the leg-to-shoulder position. As in the crunch, the bottom person can start with a 6-point stance and eventually lift the knees off the ground and support the top person with the hands and the feet. Anterior reaches work balance, stability of the hip and spine. They are one of those exercises that all of our clients and athletes perform. No matter what the sport or goal is, anterior reaches are the best way to enhance deceleration mechanics and locomotion in general. We start with parallel stances for beginners, then move to a staggered stance, and eventually end up on a single leg. Speed and multi-directional reaching is then added to increase difficulty. Any individual that does anything overhead can enhance spinal stability with the overhead reach progression. This exercise is a must for athletes that throw or serve from an overhead position. The progression is identical to the anterior reach we just covered. This exercise really integrates the abdominals and hip flexors the way they exist in function. We have successfully addressed many shoulder and elbow injuries using this exercise. This is an awesome exercise for flexibility of the upper body in one partner while strengthening the core of the other. The bottom partner can use the underhook arm position to secure the top partner. As the bottom person flexes forward, the top person is supported in a semi-tuck position. This exercise can be performed one person at a time for beginners and in an alternating fashion for more advanced individuals. This exercise expands on the back-to-back pickups. It's a great exercise for flexibility, balance, and strength. When the top person is lifted and secured, the knee tucks are performed. The top person can add variety to this exercise by performing scissor kicks and cycling motions. The bottom person can use different foot positions to create better stability for the changing center of mass. A more advanced progression to the partner knee tucks is the leg raise. The longer lever arm adds to the difficulty for both individuals. This is a perfect example of how the lever arm tweak works. These rotations are an absolute monster. The top person can control the intensity with leg position. The tighter the tuck, the easier the exercise is. Pike positions provide an enormous lever arm, which multiplies the torque to the bottom person. The bottom person can control the intensity by the degree of rotation that is applied. The walkouts will test the core strength of anyone and set up those monster extended push-ups. Start from the push-up position and walk out until you're fully extended but still off the ground. The idea is to get as long and straight as possible without losing integrity in the core. If you feel pressure in the lower back at any time, stop. You have lost core stability. Neck exercises are usually associated with wrestling and other combative sports. However, all athletes that wear helmets do so for a reason. It is for the same reason that we need strong necks. Therefore, I recommend that all athletes involved in contact sports perform similar neck exercises as my fighters do. Grip is often the limiting factor in the weight lifted or force applied. For this reason, we incorporate gripping exercises into our workouts. It often comes in the form of another exercise like pull-ups. We use various grip materials from cloth to oversized handles. Manual resistance is the oldest and safest way to work the neck. One can self-administer the resistance or have it applied by a partner. All angles can be strengthened through the application of manual resistance. Bridges can be performed in several ways, starting off by using the hands and elbows for support. This progression can be used by most individuals. As the neck gets stronger, less support is needed from the hands. Several surfaces can be used. Our favorite are the Eric's pads and stability balls. We use prone and supine positions with up, down, and side-to-side motions. Bridges can be taken up a notch by adding presses to them. As you can see here, a partner can be used to add the load. Again, this is for advanced wrestlers and not needed for many sports like lacrosse and football. Taking a look at the past gives us a great training tool for the present. Monkey bars can be found at almost any playground, and are great for developing grip strength. Walk through, hang for time, or pull-ups will develop great gripping strength. You may remember the pegboard from your high school days, but when it comes to total body training with the emphasis on grip, this is a real killer. Try different patterns and pull variations to spice up your training. Nothing is impossible, even backward climbs. As mentioned earlier, the rope is a great tool to have at little cost. The isometric hold is great for developing upper body endurance as well as grip strength. This exercise is great for any person or athlete. They may have to pull and hold for an extended period of time. Taking the isometric hold to the next level, rope climbing takes us back to the playground. When it comes to body weight exercises, the rope climb is one of the best. Just about anyone can get this done by using the legs. However, things can get really interesting fast if you just use the upper body or use a pike position during the climb. The claw grip is a Spartan exercise used by combative athletes. These nylon wraps put every pound of weight on the fingers. Be very careful at the beginning. It's easy to dislocate a finger or strain the muscles of your hands if you're not accustomed to this exercise. Like the other toys, oversized handles are not a need to have, but a nice to have toy. They can be hung just about anywhere in the gym. Can you say forearm pump? These grips are unparalleled for gripping strength. As with the rest of the grip work, isometric holds as well as pulls can be attempted. Here's an exercise that can be done in any gym. Just take your gym towel and throw it over a bar. Working on a closed grip, this exercise is great for combative athletes, especially judo players. I hope you can see that neck and grip exercises are not only for the combative athlete, but rather for any individual involved in physical contact and needing a strong neck and upper body. We encourage most of our clients or athletes to do some neck or grip work. Come on now. Atta boy. Well, you've heard the saying, he with the most toys wins. We see it a bit different. He with the strongest body wins. I hope that this video has rekindled the spirit of bodyweight training. Since the human body is the most incredible piece of equipment ever invented, I say we hope all of you are excited enough to try some of the exercises you saw in this video and make them part of your workout sessions. Remember, progression, progression, and more progression. Be safe and advance slowly, no matter how excited you are about this training style. As usual, it's been a blast doing this project. Just look at the wonderful people I get to play with. Mark Hoffman is becoming one of the best trainers at IHP, especially with the pros. This guy is hilarious and great to work with. Heather Chandler is a valued addition to the IHP staff. She is our volleyball expert and a pleasure to be around. This is Alex Jones. You have seen this young man grow up through our videos. He is the hardest working athlete I have ever trained, and we all think the world of him. Russ Manino was one of Spanish River's best wrestlers and has now gone on to the exciting college life. Diane Vivas rarely gets credit for being a consummate trainer and coach because she has taken the awesome task of making IHP the place to be. She is now back on the training floor as our head trainer. Victor Verhaag, otherwise known as the V-Man, was first introduced to you in the Dumbbell Project. He has now become the new Director of Operations for IHP. Well, all of you know Greg Salmons by now. He has become an incredible graphics designer. He has also been my training partner for a long time. This guy is impossible to beat on the blades and behind the mat. Finally, Gary Lavin, as you know, is our seminar coordinator. but he also now directs our videos, doing most of the work that you enjoy. As usual, my wife Deb remains my best friend and my biggest fan. Her support makes this work possible. My little ones, Rio, Dante, and Kayla, keep me a kid at heart. No matter how tired I am, they can always make me smile. Well, until our next project, thank you for your support and interest. Stay healthy, happy, and strong. Now kick it for me, Eddie.